In here is one of my most favorite and prized tarantula species. So why does their enclosure look like this? It's time for a rehousing and a species showcase. Hello tarantula lovers, I'm Alex and welcome back to Tarantula Haven. Today I am rehousing and doing a species showcase on one of my most favorite and prized tarantula species, and that is the Poecilotheria subfusca, and this is the Highland. So you may be wondering, if she is my favorite and most prized tarantula, why does her enclosure look like this? Well, when I initially set her up, I didn't set her up bioactive. I just put substrate in there and I put a piece of cork bark in there as her hide, and then I put her in there. And my intention, of course, was to breed her. So in the time that I had been prepping to breed her, breeding her, and her making an egg sac, I felt like I didn't need to make any changes to the enclosure, so I pretty much left things as they were and kept her as undisturbed as possible so she could be successful. And it's worked out. I've bred her a couple of times and been successful a couple of times. So at the current moment, she is not being bred. I don't have any males for her and none have presented themselves. So I'm not going to breed her anytime soon. I figured it was time for a change. Now, she is one of my most shy and reclusive of all of my pokie species, but lately she's been sitting out in the open on the backdrop or on the side right here. So I kind of want to change things up for her to kind of encourage that behavior. Now that she's not being bred and she has time to herself, maybe she'll venture out a little bit more and I can see her out more often, because there's nothing worse than having a beautiful, beautiful tarantula that you never get to see. So fortunately for me, I have been seeing her a lot more lately, and that's a really good thing. So my intention here is to make it bioactive, add some plants to it, give it a little bit of foliage and things like that so that she doesn't feel so exposed, and maybe she'll come out and venture out a little bit more and let me get some pictures and do some stuff like that. So that is what I'm hoping for today. Oh, and by the way, the poop and stuff like that on the enclosure, that has not been building up all this time. I do clean it up from time to time, but if you know anything about arboreal tarantulas, or pokies especially, they do like to poop on the glass. Now, I will say this, they like to keep their hide clean, so they don't poop where they live, and what they'll do is they'll come out to the opposite side of where they live, and that's where they'll poop. So they usually tend to keep their poop away from where they live, which makes perfect sense. You don't want your house being all full of poop, so you're going to take it somewhere else. Poecilotheria subfusca, commonly known as the Ivory Ornamental or the Ivory Billed Ornamental. This species is native to the highlands of Sri Lanka. Its current status is protected, and Sri Lanka no longer allows the exportation of this species from its country. Due to the Lacey Act, specimens in the U.S. can only be bought and sold within each state, and selling across state lines is prohibited. Females of this species can live 11 to 12 years, but some have been known to reach 15 years in captivity. Males only live 3 to 4 years. This is the smallest of the Poecilotheria genus, reaching sizes of 5.5 to 6.5 inches. They are arboreal and in the wild live in the hollows or crooks of trees. Because they live in the Highland regions, they can tolerate cooler temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter and as high as 82 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. This makes them the ideal indoor pet as they prefer cooler temperatures in the 70s. They are shy and skittish, preferring to run and hide when disturbed, but like all members of the Poecilotheria genus, they are old world and possess medically significant venom and will not hesitate to bite if threatened. There is a lowland form that grows slightly larger and has darker markings. It was once called Poecilotheria bara, but is now considered synonymous with subfusca. I've been told many times that my specimen resembles the lowland variant, which led me to consult with reputable hobbyists, one of which was Tom Patterson, not to be confused with Tom Moran of Tom's Big Spiders, to verify if it was indeed a Highland. Their advice to me was not to relabel it and to keep it as Highland, since that is what it was sold to me as. They sent me several photos of Highland specimens that had different markings and told me that in the hobby there may be some muddying of the bloodlines and there may be crosses of the two, hence variants that have similarities to both Highland and lowland. This is mostly because technically they are the same species until otherwise classified and can interbreed, but mostly because of the fact that males of both variants are virtually indistinguishable from one another, so the likelihood of their being interbreeding over the years is very high. Sadly, in the US, the availability of this species has diminished and they have become difficult to find in certain areas. I still see many of the lowland pop up from time to time, but the Highland is a bit elusive. That's why breeding has become an imperative to me to continue the species in the hobby. Since they are not large spiders, their egg sacs are rather small, usually only yielding 30 to 60 spiderlings at a time. If you want to see this species in the wild, my friend Martin of Bird Spider CH has an interesting video that he put out on his channel, and I'll link that above so you can check that out. That was a nice, calm video slash photo shoot. I actually had a very relaxing time with that. It was very enjoyable. She did not bolt for me, not the first time. And I was expecting that. I was expecting her to at least bolt, but she walked around for me, which made for some nice, decent video footage. But as far as her trying to bolt and get away, she did not. She did try to look for some hiding spots and so on, but she was very easily manipulated. I just kind of prodded her where I wanted her to go, and she pretty much did what I wanted her to. So that was really cool. I did not get the first threat posture, not once, and I was also expecting that, but the only time that she's ever done that is when I'm pulling egg sacs. So of course she's going to be threatened and she's going to give you a threat posture, but not this time. She was actually really cool to work with. I hope that the lighting captured some of the purples, because you have to see the subfusca in person. They have some subtle hues to them. For the most part, they're that ivory color with black, but those purple sheens that they get, you have to have the right lighting to see that. And sometimes it really, really stands out, and other times it doesn't. And it seems like artificial lighting just doesn't bring it out that well. So I'm hoping that I captured that, because I really want you to see the beauty of them and why I think that they are probably one of the most beautiful Poecilotheria species that there are, and why it's my favorite. And I'm hoping that she enjoys her new enclosure. I've got some nice plants in there, and that's something that I've kind of been working on as well. I've been working on trying to see what plants work best in our enclosures, in our vivariums that we have, because a lot of us use LED lighting and some plants just don't thrive in it. Some plants require higher lighting than that, and this is not full spectrum lighting. This is not lighting that plants will usually do well in. So, you got to kind of pick and choose what plants enjoy it. And it's usually your lower light plants that enjoy it. So I've kind of been working on that, and I've been seeing which ones do well and which ones just absolutely melt and do not do well. But there are other things involved as well. So I'm kind of working on that, but that's a video for the future. But hopefully that she'll enjoy it and those plants will do well in there. And that does it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you want to support this channel, I have a Teespring store where I sell Tarantula Haven merchandise. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters, and special thank you to my newest patron, Jose Avila. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to become a patron yourself, there's a link down below in the description, as well as all the others. Until next time, keep loving them tarantulas.